You know, I can't even be mad at you guys for waiting to the last minute to start studying for the SAT. Because that's what I did. And I ended up getting this score. So, it works out.
Metro Boomin want some more.
What's going on, guys? So in this video is basically for all the people who are watching this and you're panicking, right? The SAT, the August SAT is the 23rd, and you basically have 2/2.5 weeks to study as much as you can and get that 1600 you want. Now, truth be told, the chance of you getting 1600 with only 2 weeks of studying for the SAT is kind of slim. And honestly, it's not too slim, but it's much harder than if you studied a month before. Now, before I talk about what you should do at this point in terms of your study regime, let me talk about what happened with me, because as you saw in my intro, the first time I took the SAT, I did get a 1530, right? And I started studying February 21st. And my SAT date was March 10th. So that's basically 2.5, nearing 3 weeks of study time. And as you guys know, I'm a Khan Academy ambassador, right? So all I did literally was Khan Academy, but that's beside the point. The point is, you guys, you can still get a really high score, 1400 to 1500 score with a little bit, with 2 weeks of studying. Now, I'm not gonna say little bit, because for those 2 weeks of studying, I studied 2 to 3 hours a day. All right. So if you're gonna study for 2 weeks, you have to be studying 2 to 3 hours a day, and this is what you should really do to optimize your study regime. Okay, within these last 2 weeks, you want to focus on math for the first week. All right, because math is usually the topic that you can get down pretty well. And honestly, if you're stronger at English, then study English the first week. Whichever subject you're stronger at, study that subject for the first week. So, for example, I was stronger at math, so I studied math 2 hours a day for 7 days straight. I took a practice test. Okay, so what you should do is take a practice test for math and English, and just track your mistakes, see what you messed up on in the math part, see what you messed up on the English part, but only focus on your mistakes in the math part in terms of try to fix them first. So go on Khan Academy, do the topics that you got wrong on the practice test, practice that, or use SAT books, a link in the description below. Use those materials and just study all the things you got wrong for the math or English part, whichever you're stronger at. So study that. So then the midway point between the week 1 and week 2, I want you to take another practice test. And this practice test, you really want to improve your score from the last one and whatever subject you studied for. So in my case, I improved my practice test score from like a 720 to a 780 in math. So I knew my studying went well. And now the second week, in my case, I studied English. And you want to study the weaker one second, the week leading up to the SAT, because you're weaker in that subject. So you want as much knowledge in your brain about that subject as possible before you have to sit down and take the SAT. So like I said, in my case, I was weaker in English, so I kept track of the mistakes I made on English from the first practice test, and I used Khan Academy, and I used some other third-party resources, kind of, to just study for the English part of the SAT. Like I did some grammar worksheets for the writing section, and I even read like half of a book for the comprehension section, just trying to draw connections as I read. And that was my study regime. So first week math, second week English, fixed the mistakes that I made in the math part, fixed the mistakes I made in the English part. And when I sat down to the SAT, it worked out, right? I went from a 1350 to a 1530. So that's really what you want to do. Those 2 weeks left, right? These 2 weeks, I want you to hustle as hard as you possibly can and study 2 to 3 hours a day. And like I said, strong subject week 1, weak subject week 2. Okay, you want that weak subject information fresh in your brain as you sit down for the SAT. So if you guys like this video, drop a like, share, subscribe. Peace.